Justin.
What's up, Blayne?
Justine. Big week for you. Big week for you.
Just like any other week. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure. You gonna start buying puts or, I don't know, trading futures or perhaps changing the old marital status?
Yeah, maybe the last one.
Sure.
Yeah. Some would say I'm trading up, huh? From single to married.
I like that. Let's keep it all in stock terms.
Yeah.
I feel so lucky to get to spend an hour with you. Like next time I see you, we'll be at the wedding location, and I'll have to share you with 150 other people. So
lots of the lovely small talk. How'd you get here? How long you been here?
How's your 2020? How'd you survive the pandemic?
Yep. I do want to tell you a funny story real quick. We were having a conversation with the band. And the band manager, booking agent, whoever they are, it doesn't really matter. They were talking about when they were going to start playing music, when they were going to have music to pass the time, whether there was a bar, all those kind of coordination and logistics. And one of the things that she talked about was, the first half hour really just needs to be instrumental so people can sit there and have their small talk conversations about the stock market and crypto.
Sure. Wait, what?
That's what she said.
That's not where we were going at all.
And I said, wow, sounds like you really know this crowd, huh? Thought that was hysterical. And then we actually dove into a 5-minute conversation about crypto. The band manager is recently liquidated for her crypto positions. Not that anyone cares. I just thought it was really interesting that, no matter what, it's here.
Yeah, it's the universal topic.
It is.
Well, I actually, I have a band request that I've been meaning to text you about or call you about or talk to you about sometime other than now, but it seems appropriate.
Yeah. How about now on the show?
Okay. When they put on the pre-recorded songs or whatever when they're taking a break?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would really like Solo.
Jason Derulo, yeah.
First of all, Kate loves that song.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, our brother Ben and Kate love that song.
Mm-hmm.
Third of all, every time I trade Solo, which is daily, just in my mind reminds me of Kate. So if you can do that for me.
Is that what's the term? Double entendre? Does that fit here where you've got Solo coming from multiple angles?
Yeah, it's just in my head all the time.
Have you given it any thought that the wedding is about the opposite of I'm riding solo at all?
Yeah, no, I have. That's why I didn't make the request sooner. But I do think that the Ben Kate connection is strong enough that we could bring it out. Got it.
Okay. So do you think, song and band aside, that you're going to have a lot of conversation about the stock market, about Penny Lane, about crypto? And do you think that you are going to recruit people to join Benzinga and to watch our show and to watch our podcast, to listen to our podcast, and perhaps join a few of your Discords? All in all, are you going to offer stock advice?
So I have a really bad habit of when things are very important, I get nervous and will fall back on let me tell you about my podcast when the occasion doesn't call for it. So if I was telling you right now in my heart, I would prefer to not talk about myself at all and not discuss the podcast. But when the rubber hits the road and I have nothing to talk about with your uncle or whatever, I'm gonna fall to stocks.
Yeah.
Heard of the stock market.
This show and this audience in particular probably relates to this pretty significantly, right? At a family get together, they always say, don't talk politics. And then, so now you just talk stock market. Same thing, I bet, at weddings now. When you get together with tertiary friends, I don't know you. I don't know what's going on in your life, but you know what we have in common? Meme stocks.
Sure. You've heard of AMC.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
It's funny. This is the summer of weddings because COVID's over in some regard. I got to throw that in there. So weddings are back and the stock market's hot. And so everyone's talking stock markets.
Yeah,
Or
this is
crypto.
actually a great transition into our first topic.
Yeah.
But first, I do think that we should say, cheers to your wedding week.
Cheers.
Justin, tell us who these people are.
Well, one is you sitting down, the blonde hair. The other person with blonde hair would be my fiance, soon to be wife. I am also in said picture in the back with the poofy hair. And then there is a very handsome gentleman there wearing a vest. And his name is Jimmy. And that would be your lovely husband.
It's weird. It looks like Kate and I could be related, and you and Jimmy could possibly be related too.
Is that problematic?
I like it.
That's 2021.
Good story. So Kate and I are actually stepsisters, but I met Kate when she was 6. So
she doesn't know any different.
I doubt she remembers a world without me.
Do you think we should break the news to her on the wedding day that you guys are step-siblings?
So we are pre-recording this because we're all headed to Maine on Wednesday, the day this is airing. So actually, when you, the viewer, are watching this, we're probably having a little welcome cocktail, in the lobby of the hotel. So join us virtually. But in thinking of that, I thought, what could we do that was wedding themed? Now, if you could, in one paragraph or less, explain to us what happened with your engagement, your initial wedding plans, and what's happening now, because I think that timeline nicely mirrors the charts of some of the stocks I want to look at.
Interesting. I also want to tease the show. You're going to talk about some companies here people may not necessarily think about. I mean, weddings are travel related, airlines, tourist destinations, hotels, all the hotel and tourism stuff, right? But you've got some interesting ones up your sleeve, I see.
Well, I didn't want to go back into CCL. I have some CCL calls right now that are about to expire. They hadn't paid me, so I'm trying to not be upset. I don't know how much you've traveled. Well, I do know you've been traveling a lot. Safely. Airline security is insane right now. Like, traveling is back, baby. Can't get a rental car. We've been struggling to get rental cars for the wedding, and hotel rooms are very expensive and hard to come by. So I'm not sure how much the wedding industry is impacting all of that, but it seems like kind of a small enough, like, people are traveling whether or not they have a wedding to go to. Yeah. However, it does feel like there are about 3 times as many weddings happening this summer than normally. So, like, things like salons are killing it. Alterations places are killing it. I was reading about David's Bridal. Absolutely killing it, but they're not a publicly traded company. There's a lot of places in the wedding industry that are not publicly traded. They're private companies. So it's hard to get like a real read of those. So I did try to find stocks that a wedding was a big enough part of their company that we could see a pattern in the charts.
Yeah, it's a very fragmented industry, which is why you've got companies like The Knot who try to tie all that together, right? They are bringing...
Okay. Interestingly enough, I was researching The Knot today, and it did used to be publicly traded under XO. It is not any longer.
Well,
now, I'm not smart enough to go into like what happened.
Yeah.
You can tell me.
No, I can't. I will tell you this, though, is their business has to be booming. And we obviously can't see their books, but I imagine they will go public again at some point. I mean, they went from 0 to triple probably volume for the year, right? Everyone's jamming weddings in. Like you said, I went to a jeweler in 2019, spent a significant amount of money on, is that a luxury good or a durable good?
I'm not sure, but I did learn today that in 2018, the average engagement ring cost $6,200, which is higher than I would have thought.
Yeah.
The average wedding cost $35,000, which is also much higher than I would have thought.
That's 3 years ago. So the data for this year is going to be crazy.
Those numbers are so much higher than when I got married. I got married 9 years ago, and the average wedding was $25,000.
Yeah, so it's gone up. So hopefully the wheels are spinning for some people. They're spinning for me about like where we should be. I mean, you're going to see financial results this year for wedding related stocks that are massive.
Kay Jewelers is owned by Signet.
Yeah.
And their Q1 earnings were like unheard of.
Look at that.
Look at that.
The 2021 pop. I mean, yeah. So like you were a little behind without a doubt, but it is, I mean, if that's an accurate reflection and representation of the revenue growth that they're experiencing, and of course the expected future revenue and earnings, I mean, wow. That's back from.
You think that's just volume of certain, I don't know a lot about Kay Jewelers. I've never been a customer yet. But I would think that the most expensive item they sell is an engagement ring, wouldn't you?
The diamond. Yeah, but I wonder, I don't know where a jeweler makes their most margin, if it's on an actual diamond or if it's on custom pieces or large pieces. I couldn't tell you, but I do hope you appreciate the fact I'm using the term pieces.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't think Kay Jewelers does a lot of custom work. I think it's a little more churn and burn. I mean, no offense at all, but I think that they produce it. I actually have tried on, I went to the mall and tried on a couple of like to get my ring size and to get basic, like what cut do I like or whatever. And it seemed like very nice rings that almost every woman in America would appreciate. But if you want something custom, I think you have to go somewhere else.
Yeah, so before you go into the earnings, that big pop there, Mitch, can you zoom out? Are we back to pre-COVID levels? They had a wow, look at that.
It looks like you're back to 2017 levels.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. Now, remember that story of before COVID, the company was maybe tanking a little bit. COVID hits, big tank, then recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you've ever listened to the Penny Lane podcast or this show, you know how much I love a 90s mall nostalgia stock. I'm just saying, I think this might fit the theme.
Yes. Tell us about what they've done so far this year, though, Blayne, because now you're way beyond a COVID range, right? You're back to 2017. COVID wasn't even that wasn't a word that I knew. So
this is copied straight from Benzinga Pro, and you might have to interpret it. But this is their Q1 earnings 2021.
Okay.
Signet Jewelers reported first quarter earnings of $2.23 per share, which beat the estimate of $1.27 per share.
Golly.
The company reported quarterly revenue of $1.69 billion, which beat the estimate of $1.62 billion.
Some people may say, "Opa!" That's amazing. So look at that too. So they've cut some fat. They probably cut some stores because their revenue is right in line, but their earnings per share is just huge. So they must have found a way to go virtual with online showings. Who knows? I don't know much about this business. I can tell you this though. Weddings are up. Diamonds are up. People got money in their pockets. There's a wealth effect. And I would say that we're going probably up from here, but it's probably the whole industry.
All right. Next, Mitch, let's go to Macy's.
You think this is a wedding-related stock?
Tell me, Justin, how is Macy's related to weddings? As a future groom, a very soon-to-be groom, how would you relate Macy's to weddings? Purchasing what?
You think there's suits, or you think there's suit rentals, or do you think, I got it, registries.
There it is.
Boom.
There it is.
God, using that big brain. Registries. Good point. Do you think that there's enough registry and buying out there to really move the needle at a top line for a company like Macy's?
Other than like Crate and Barrel and Macy's and maybe Nordstrom, there's not a lot of places to order China like that you eat on. And a lot of people register for that. China, bedding, kitchen appliances. Also, Macy's handles its own registry in-house versus doing something like now they have these websites where you can register for anything on the internet, and that's great, but the tracking is like terrible. So you can end up with 6 tea kettles or whatever. Whereas I registered at Macy's because it told you who bought it, their name, their address, when they bought it, and it kept like a very accurate count of all that.
So you like their business?
Their stores are certainly not hip, right? Their e-commerce site is certainly not hip. But in the traditional wedding sense of you need a registry, and most people who get married nowadays have moms that are like, you got to have a registry.
Yeah. I've
Macy's
seen that.
is good for that.
So I just looking at the price level, we're right back to pre-COVID, a tad bit higher, but not much, and also been floating around that pre-COVID line since about April, when I don't know if they experienced earnings miss there or not. Probably should have done that research. However, if you would ask me, pre-COVID level, we've leveled off back to pre-COVID level with all of this, what Blayne, as you would say, upcoming wedding season with the registries. That's going to be a lot of upward potential. Macy's.
You know what's so interesting
Big box, though.
is I would have thought that COVID would have killed malls and big mall retailers. Like, I didn't think they would ever come back.
Can't stop a high schooler from going to a mall.
I mean, it's the total opposite of what I would have thought.
Cannot stop a high schooler from going to a mall, and they're spending money there.
Also, why I'm not a financial advisor.
Yeah.
I would have been like, retail that.
But if you are going to pick retail as a wedding related stock horse, are you going to pick Macy's, or is there another horse such as, drumroll, Bed Bath & Beyond that you might pick?
Well,
I
Bed
love that
Bath & Beyond
looks like Big Baby.
Yes. Bed Bath & Beyond had an incredible stroke of luck.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that luck was?
They were a part of the meme craze for a hot sec, right?
They're still meme. They're a meme stock now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
I've seen candles like that before.
Yeah. So I don't think that this chart necessarily reflects their sales. Like, I think it's similar to BlackBerry or AMC, that they got caught up in that craze. But Bed Bath & Beyond is a great place to register, and probably that's how they're hanging on.
Technically, they could be popping out of a nice little wedge there. I don't know. I feel like if they were a meme stock, people still pay attention to it. And when they see good earnings, which if the thesis is correct, that registries are adding significant volume to top line revenue, this would be a good one.
I don't ever like to talk badly about a stock. That's not who I am. But have you been in a Bed Bath & Beyond recently?
No, I get turned off by the amount of coupons I receive in the mail.
You need like a Xanax or a beer or like something to go in there. There's so much stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You know what they don't do anymore, off topic, is let you go in like with the little gun and then you like scan everything you want on the registry. Right now it's all done online. They should go back and make you do that. So you have to walk around the store and you're like, well, why don't we just buy those 4 things now instead of waiting, and you just use the gun. Anyway.
Do you think you'd be like, I care too much about my wedding guests to make them come into this Bed Bath & Beyond? I guess everything's done online, but like,
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. If it was me, I would pick this horse, even though it's the meme craze. Maybe that adds to it. I don't know. A lot of volatility, a lot of nice candles there, but I would pick BBBY.
There's two more. The last one's a transition, but right now I think we should go to Nordstrom.
This is a business that has tried to go, how do you say, not avant-garde, but they've tried to come up with like the little pop-up stores where you can do custom suits and tailoring and all of that jazz. away from big box into small retail. I don't know if they continued with that trend or not. They are certainly back to, well, they're a little below pre-COVID. So, Blayne, is your thesis with the wedding-related retail stocks that you could be big box, but you're fine because you were able to move your business online, and wedding registries and events and big life events that are held and online purchases will make up for that?
Yes. I also think that Nordstrom provides a very nice shopping experience.
Sure does.
Like,
During the holidays, they got the pianos.
Yeah. Much better than Macy's or Bed Bath & Beyond. Like, it's such a pleasure. Here in Atlanta, you have to go to the Perimeter Mall, but you feel it's such a nice experience. And that, I think, people care about.
Yeah. Last question on this. I don't think the diamond industry or the jewelers are experiencing supply shortage. Are any of these retailers experiencing supply shortages? Everyone's got supply chain issues, but I just wonder, and like, are all of these stores full of crap?
Not sure. I haven't been to them all.
If you order that stuff online from Macy's, I mean, are they saying back ordered for 3 months?
No, I know. Funny enough, because my bridesmaid dress, did Kate tell you?
No.
Oh, perfect. So I tried it on this week and decided I hated it.
Good time for that.
Right. Or last week. I had tried it on previously, thought it was fine. Tried it on last week and was like, this won't do.
Yeah.
And then I was like, do I tell Kate or do I just suffer through? But Kate's pretty chill. So I thought I could come to her with a way to resolve the issue, which was, I will buy like any dress you want, 10 dresses you want, and surely I'll get them all shipped here and we can find one that works. Kate took it like a champ, but I went to like Saks, Nordstrom, all the big retailers, and they're like, yeah, be there overnight, 48 hours.
Dang.
So, yeah, I didn't see a lot of out of stock.
I'll tell you what, that's good news. I don't hate the retail. Wedding related, is that enough money to really push their revenue up? Probably enough. Yeah. I like this. I think this was good, DD.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. We have one more. The ticker is Coke.
Wonder what that means.
It's the Coca-Cola ticker.
I know.
Wedding related. Okay. Sure. But Justin, have you tried these?
The Topo Chico seltzers.
Have you tried this?
I certainly have. I like Topo Chico very much. Coke really hit a home run, or some would call it a 10-bagger.
So I got into the Topo Chicos in San Juan on the bachelorette trip. I'd never tried it before, but all the girls, you know, they're 10 years younger than me. They're very hip. They're like, we got to get into these. Now, in the notes, if you'll read on the notes I put out, it tells you what day Topo Chico hit U.S. stores. What day?
That would be March 29th, 2021.
Now, do you see that some call it the boner candle there at the end of the stock price?
A bit graphic, but I think I understand what you mean.
Sure. Now, March 29th, we could call that sort of the beginning of April. I mean, I don't know that I'm making an uneducated guess.
And then we go straight up from that release.
Yeah, that incorporating a hard seltzer improved sales. I don't know. I'm purely guessing, but I did think that date in that chart lined up nicely.
I do like that thesis. I don't know if Topo Chico is enough of their product offering. It could be. I do think that one of their biggest things, they make a lot of money off restaurant sales, which is
that's so much smarter.
Yeah, they make
okay.
All right, sorry. You want me to shut up?
But shoot, this is why I'm not a great trader. Like, so one thing in my mind.
They make so much money off restaurants and live events, sports activities, all of that kind of thing, you know, with their concession and their restaurant sales. So when the COVID restriction was lifted by President Biden, that was a big part. So anyway.
Wow.
But there's somebody who's watching this who knows more than I do and more than you do, and there's probably another reason. But I will tell you this, Topo Chico is a big wedding drink this summer, so I'm with you.
So I thought I was going to be so clever. I had the product here. I had the date. I just thought I was going to really blow your mind with this.
Yeah, and your co-host is a jerk.
But while I have you, do you remember that story of you going up to the bartender at the bar when you'd had too many beers? Do you remember what you said?
No.
I believe your words were, "Excuse me, sir, do you have any hard seltzer?" And he said, "You mean a White Claw?" And
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean a White Claw. So I wanted to ask you, have you incorporated any hard seltzers into the liquor plan at the wedding or rehearsal dinner?
Yeah. Yes, we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So White Claw is still a private Canadian company, right?
Unfortunately, if they ever go public, I'm quitting trading, putting all my money into White Claw, and we'll see what happens.
Some would call that an investor. Yeah. So with local alcohol and beverage control laws, the bartender technically has to serve drinks, obviously. So we have a bucket of White Claws that will be near a bartender so they can monitor it, therefore adhering to local, I guess, alcohol and beverage control laws.
Now, is it only White Claws?
From a seltzer standpoint?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got loyalty. I have brand loyalty.
Good. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we love Canada, so.
Yeah, we do. We will be near Canada. So
yeah. Can you tell us what's next?
Yeah, which is going to really hit home for me. I cannot wait to go into this one. Also, I'm in North Carolina, so this really hits home, which is the home of Krispy Kreme, and they have fantastic marketers. What an amazing ticker name.
Amazing ticker name, amazing product. Nostalgia. The donuts are hot. What else?
So this one hits home. Little known fact. I had a donut shop for.
What was the name of that shop, Justin? It's time.
We had it for 18 months.
Okay.
Took a nice good swing at it. Really thought that we were going to supplant Krispy Kreme in the Carolina market. We did not even come close. The number one complaint that we received on Yelp and Google review and Foursquare and all that jazz was your donuts aren't hot. Let me tell you something. There's only one company out there that serves hot donuts when the hot light is on, and that is D-Nut Krispy Kreme. They're hot and ready. When that hot light is on, you get a hot donut.
And you put that hot donut in your mouth, it melts away. It just dissolves. It's like a cotton candy. There's no donut.
Yeah.
There's no need to chew. You put that bad boy in a hot cup of coffee, it just poof.
I'll tell you, the Carolinians around these parts, very excited about this. Going public again for the second time.
So when I moved from Georgia, my home state, up to Boston to go to college, Dunkin' Donuts had a monopoly up there. And there was a Dunkin' Donuts across the dorm. So I had to frequent there at 2-3 in the morning because they were open and I was hungry. Those donuts, they weren't glazed well. They're stale. They don't dissolve. I mean, they're cake. Like even if you put one in the microwave for 20 seconds, it's a cake.
Yeah. I will tell you this. I have firsthand experience to verify the validity of the Krispy Kreme business model that people want hot donuts. They do. They want them hot. They want them fresh. And when they don't get them, they write you crappy reviews, which can severely impact your business. And Dunkin' has done a great job to withstand that because they've got such a loyalty in the Northeast and a stronghold up there. And they got brand loyalty. I'll tell you what, Krispy Kreme with their hot donuts will be coming for that. You know what? Well,
I do have to say, when you want a cake donut, like, and when you've grown up eating a cake donut, like you can respect a cake donut, especially if it's a Dunkin' donut.
Loyal.
Wait, you see what? If you're dunking
it's a cake donut.
It's a cake. Woo.
You don't think that the people you don't think that's where that came from? Yeah, I did. That's where it came from. But to your point, there's loyalty there. I'm really glad that you came full circle on the Dunkin' Donuts name. I'll tell you this: Dunkin' Donuts, coffee, where they make most of their money, I'm sure. The donuts, big part of it. Now they got the sandwiches, the breakfast sandwiches, the lunch sandwiches. Krispy Kreme just makes donuts. I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't even think their coffee is very good. Dunkin' Donuts has much better coffee than Krispy Kreme. If you're talking about their business,
have you ever had the Krispy Kreme lemon filled?
Yeah, I think I've had them all. So I'll make you real jealous real quick. We have a donut test center here for Krispy Kreme. So you go in there and it's where they are beta testing, market testing, all of their new flavors. It's awesome. The stores for Krispy Kreme are new. They are in good locations. They do a lot of standalones. They have a very different retail strategy beyond Dunkin' Donuts. If I'm a betting man on the ponies, I'm picking Krispy Kreme because people will absolutely find brand loyalty with hot donuts. They will. Mitch found the test center where you've got these fancy donuts that they come up with.
Test out your donut today.
Dude.
Mitch, while we have you, I have to interrupt and say tropical mango was okay, but strawberry guava, it wins.
Oh, wasn't that a dumb money pick? I think I remember him bringing that up. That's dumb right there.
What?
But it's money.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So we don't have to talk about donuts anymore. I will say this. Mitch and Blayne, was that not the most stereotypical IPO chart you've seen for like a 1 month time period?
For sure. I also have to tell you, I'm in the MTA and I am now an investor in my long-term account in Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to one of my friends. I have it at like 19, 20, I think.
That's probably good.
So I'm in the red right now. But so I'm talking to my trading friends and they're like, why did you buy that? And my only answer was, have you had a hot donut?
Yeah.
I don't care about the chart. I don't care about the recent IPO. I don't care about anything but like a hot donut will win the day.
You have to keep in mind now that this company previously was not focused on like expanding, right? Like they just wanted to come up with a good business model and a good product when they went private. Now they have to return shareholder value exponentially, quarter over quarter, year over year. They're going to be focused on growth now that they've mastered the rest of their. This is a good investment if you like donuts. Let me just put that out there.
Well, most people my age, I'm almost 40. They're not eating gluten. They're not eating a carb. They're not.
Good point.
There's all kind of things that I've cut out of my diet that women my age cut out of my diet. If I drive by the Krispy Kreme and it's hot,
stopping.
I'm pulling over.
Yeah. So also, everyone had COVID kids, COVID babies.
Mm-hmm.
When you have kids in the car and the hot lights on, you're stopping.
Also, Krispy Kreme gave out a coffee or a donut if you got your COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
I like that little marketing trick.
See, they got good PR, folks. D-nut. All right, we don't have to chit-chat about donuts anymore. That was a typical IPO chart if I've ever seen one, right? It found a nice base, in my opinion. If you're in between what was that, the $15 to $17 range, even the 15 to 20, and you're willing to park some quiche.
It never hit 15.
Yeah, you're fine. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the stock.
Yeah, I'm gonna average down if it goes back down.
Also, I'm a Scorn donut owner. I'm Scorn.
Yeah.
So if I like it,
and if the stock ever goes down, you just go buy some donuts. You won't feel too bad.
That's the old Warren Buffett Dairy Queen trick. He's like, dude, Dairy Queen, can you guys all leave here today and go buy some ice cream for the love of God? Or if you have he used to own 5% of Coke we just talked about. I don't know what he owns now. Hey, if you see a Coke, just pour it out. Just pour it out.
You know, my dad was a stockbroker in the 80s and the 90s, and he put basically all his money in this company called Media Play. Do you recall what that?
Did they end up being Media Player, which is owned by Microsoft?
No. It was like a Best Buy Turtle Music kind of thing. You could go in.
Power Records?
Yeah. You go and you buy CDs, movie posters, movie memorabilia, whatever it was. Now, my parents were divorced.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday, my dad would pick us up from school. We would go directly to Media Play.
Yeah.
Buy whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
Every single Tuesday, because he was just losing his shirt on the stuff.
I love it.
Sometimes you got to take matters into your own hands.
Like my friends were like, "Oh, I'm doing like X, Y, and Z chores to get the new Hootie and the Blowfish album." I'm like, "I've got the whole catalog."
Yeah, I've got 6 Hootie and the Blowfish records. We're doing the Lord's work here. You know, that was a great 80s business model. Anyway. All right.
You had the headphones you could put on and listen to the CD right there. And then Dad got really into Blu-ray. Invested a ton into Blu-ray. Who's heard of Blu-ray in the last 20 years?
There's a lot of people in your Discords who have no idea what Blu-ray even is.
Sure. Speaking of Blu-ray, Disney, today is Monday, as I said, had a day.
Okay.
Why did they have a day? Justin, can you
I got it. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, man. I love ScarJo. Over the weekend, Black Widow earned $80 million at the box office, but $60 million through streaming on Disney Plus. Which
go ahead. No, go.
Which, for the record, is the first time the company has shared exactly how much they'd made through a streaming release, which is less than 12 months old now, right? So
yes. And
can I see that picture of Scarlett Johansson again? Black Widow.
Yeah.
Man, she looks like a bad A.
Be careful, you might end up a widow.
Yeah. That's nice. I like that, Mitch.
So, you know, I am a diehard moviegoer. Like AMC, I would try to go to the movies like once or twice a month. I loved it because it's almost like flying. You can't be on your phone. You have to pay attention. I really enjoy watching the movie. I get my best movie experience. But I have been saying ever since Netflix came out and was streaming, like, there is money to be made here. Like, if I go to AMC to do a new release, I'm spending $50. And since they started serving alcohol at AMC, I'm spending, over 50.
Yeah.
Right. So what would I be willing to pay for a brand new release to see it at home?
Less
and I
or more?
landed at about $40.
So the same.
Like, I don't have to, and now I have to pay a babysitter. I can't go out without paying a babysitter $100, and then I have to get food. Like, we're going to this Cinnabon. Honestly, it's like a $300 a night, but it was one of my favorite dates, so we would do it all the time. And I was like, as soon as we can embrace a new release that I can watch in my own living room, I'm a customer. You guys sign me up. And I just think, I love the release of that data. I love that other people are willing to watch movies at home. Now, I don't want that to be the death of theaters because I love that nostalgia and think it's a great, great thing. But I just thought it was like a revenue stream that hadn't been tapped.
No, well, they're hitting it. They're hitting it hard.
Yeah.
60 million.
Also, as I was writing the outline at like 2:30 or 3 o'clock today, another big Disney thing happened, and I haven't looked at it. Mitch, could you look on Benzinga for us? It's something about Disney and ESPN that just happened.
That's just a complicated media business. I can't. Somebody knows out there how many analysts out there have to cover the stock in this business because of the giant. It's the same thing as the Roy family. Not the actual Roy Disney, but Roy family from Succession, where they just have so many business lines. If you dig through the financials, you can figure out what's moving the needle and what's not. I don't even know if streaming is moving the needle for Disney compared to like reopening park revenue. I have no idea. They got cruises, Blayne.
Oh, here it is. They do have cruises. All right, Mitch, what do we have?
So Disney's going to be raising ESPN Plus monthly and annual subscription prices. So essentially showing up a little bit more on the bottom line. The question is, can they keep their subscriptions?
Oh, you think people are going to start fleeing?
That's the question, right? I mean, I don't know if you've ever had ESPN Plus, Justin.
Yeah, I got it on accident. I tried to watch a fight one night, bought the fight, ended up with a year subscription.
Sure.
Mitch, do you have it?
I've had it because I've had the little bundle with Disney Plus and Hulu and ESPN Plus. So that's what I'm wondering, is my price changing? I had already seen it. It went up about $2. So the question is really, I mean, does $2 going to take me away from it? Probably not.
Yeah.
But I mean, today, big news. I think it's even bigger news about the 60 million just being able to produce it at home. Like you said, Penny, the convenience now is at home. And I mean, when you're talking now, $40 or $300, I mean, we can just be obvious about that.
Right.
Blayne, do you have a subscription?
I do. And I have to tell you, it got me through COVID. My kids are 5 and 7 now.
Aren't they watching Judge Judy these days?
At night, sometimes we'll get into a murder show, but don't tell anyone that. But I have wanted to watch something with my kids so badly that wasn't Trolls World Tour. It wasn't animated and like dumb, because I wanted to be able to watch. I wanted them to be able to watch, and then I wanted us to talk about it. And Disney Plus has provided that in spades. It has made me a better parent. It's made me better able to interact with the kids. We spend quality time together. We discuss our shows. Like, I mean, saying it's life-changing is perhaps going too far, but also true.
So there's a Disney PR person out there. Put this on a commercial. What a testimonial.
Disney Plus has really, really changed our family's life.
This show is not sponsored by Disney Plus anyway.
Right? I think you have to make that clear after that. I mean, that wasn't an ad read. That was from the soul. So the 60 million, that was 60 million, can't be $60 million. That was 60 million subscribers, no?
Dollars.
Mitch?
Dollars.
$60 million is not
dollars.
Market cap.
It's the biggest opening weekend premiere since COVID hit.
I'm sorry. I just realized how dumb I can't comprehend things I'm reading out loud. 60 of the 80 million box office rake was streaming.
That's what I thought this morning, but it's not. It's 140 total.
Okay.
140 million total. 60 million coming straight from the streaming Disney Plus. 80 million coming from the box office.
Got it. So it is just under 50% was streaming. I see what you mean now. The split is so significant. I got it.
Also, I think
simple as that, right?
Thing is going to go down. Like, it's now a novel thing. Also, parents love to take their kids to the theater in the summer.
Yeah. Summer's
hot at theaters, but it will slowly go down.
So,
in my opinion,
can we bring up the Disney chart? Yeah, let's take a little quick peek. Oh yeah, look at that pop because of that news. No,
yeah,
that's exactly.
When the ESPN thing came out, I didn't even read the news, but I did overnight some.
So, where do we think we're going from here? Disney found a nice downtrend channel, which honestly could be a good place to start compiling a position. No. So
I bought it in the 180s. It looks like the high is 204. You know what? If they can be on the pioneering side of like huge blockbuster releases available at home through their app,
those are big numbers.
I think it goes over 200 or 204. I think it like 250 maybe.
I bet these option contracts are expensive. You seeing people out there talking about trying to swing some options here over the next.
Squeezy made his monthly salary in Disney option calls today, I think. I kind of made that up a little bit, but he has been all over Disney today, and we love him.
Got it. Wow. I'm glad we're talking about it. So this thing really saw some movement.
Yeah.
On the options
and you see how that last volume candle, It took like all day. And then after lunch, the volume came in.
No way. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, you're right.
And then at 2:30, they released that last news. So I was like, the volume plus a double PR or double news.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is awesome. So long term, Blayne, you're thinking that they could be setting the new standard for streaming releases.
Are.
Yeah, but then
they are. Like their programming is so superior to Netflix, and I love Netflix.
Yeah. People are making some money.
Able to watch something that I know is fine for my kids, but mentally stimulating for me.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question before we finish. We have only talked about large market capitalization stocks today. Are you still in a mental space where that's what you're trading and you are taking a break from penny stocks completely, or are you still monitoring some things like Solo? Well, they're not penny stocks per se. You know what I mean? Small market, small cap.
Yeah. You hit me at kind of a bad time for that. I have been slightly checked out of my day trading the last 4 or 5 weeks. We've had a lot of family stuff going on. And since the podcast season 1 wrapped, and I know we're not starting season 2 until the end of July, I have been focused really on my kids this summer. So,
But you're doing some swings.
I'm doing some swings. I still am like active in the room. I have certainly made some trades, but summer's a tough time, and it's a tough time for the market. So
yeah, well, volume historically is down. How do you feel that your pivot to swing trading, which is like happened pretty quick, right? How has that gone? Do you feel comfortable with it? Do you feel comfortable sleeping overnight in positions, or are you still getting used to it? And do you think that summer's over, you'll stick with it? That was a 4-in-1 question.
Well, we've discussed before, like I have a much better win rate with swings, but I like day trading a lot more. But I lost a lot of money on Wish.
Oh, yeah. Have you made a promise to never trade that one again? Have you broken said promise?
Yeah. I need to go to counseling about Wish, because I was in prior to all the hype and thought, like, since I was in earlier, that it was my biggest loss in like 18 months. So it hasn't been good. And I sold it. I'm like mentally not great with my trading right now because of that.
This is going to take me about a second and a half to get to my point. Have you ever watched the show Billions?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know Wendy?
Yeah.
She does psychology, psychiatry for the private company, that the hedge fund owned by Bobby Axelrod.
Right.
That's a job that exists out there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's a real thing, right? I mean, I think you maybe could wear different hats doing. That's not my point. My point is this: if someone out there works in psychology and psychiatry and can find a way to replicate that job into retail traders, you got yourself a nice little business. You can go to people like yourself, Blayne, and book 30-minute sessions throughout the week that just let's chit chat about what you're doing with Wish. Why are you breaking your own rules? What's the psychology behind it? How do we break that habit? How do we set boundaries? How do we just get Wendy from that show to be floating around these Discords and these Benzinga shows that we're on and talk to people? And of course, there's, a fee associated with it. I have no idea what the hourly rate is for something like that. That's a real good idea.
For sure. And, our last Benzinga show, we went through a list of like the easiest way to lose money in the stock market. And
we went, 10 out of 10.
Right. And I was on like a really good winning streak.
Yeah. You never talk about a winning streak when you're on a winning streak. It's like It's like bowling. Is that a bad analogy? You don't talk about the perfect game in baseball or the 300 in bowling. You don't even look at the guy who's throwing the perfect game.
Yeah.
Yeah. We shouldn't have talked about it.
I think I just felt like I took a bigger position than I should have taken.
Yeah.
I held it longer than I should have.
You are epitomizing, though, the retail trader, I guess maybe the institutional trader, because volume's down in the summer, right? People are just trading less. They got stuff going on. They want to do fun things, enjoy the weather. They're taking vacation. They're taking PTO. All in all, volume ends up being lower. You're not doing anything wrong here.
I had a ton at 13. My plan was to sell at 17. I think last time I looked, it was like 1090.
Yeah.
And it was just dropping and dropping. And
last thing before we wrap up, 2 questions, 2-parter. That's it. I won't do more than 2. 1, are you a buyer of SpaceX, Blue Origin, or Virgin Galactic? And then 2, if you had the discretionary income of $250,000, would you buy a ticket to go to space?
So I've traded SPCE a lot. That's SpaceX, right?
That would add up.
Yeah, it got caught up in the meme thing, like all the hype. I've traded that a lot, always like very successfully. I really like that stock. I feel this could be a sell the news, possibly like they've gone to space. So right this second, I'm not a trader of any of those companies.
Got it. Well, they have a revenue model. It's not like it's just, I mean, there's a revenue model there for all those companies. At some point, yeah. Sure.
Also, I'd never go to space. You know how deathly afraid I am of vomiting.
Oh, yeah. And that weightlessness.
Yeah, that's not for me. If there's ever vomiting involved, I can't participate in the activity.
So you would be out on space.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So if you're out on space, you're not a believer in the product, maybe you should stay away.
Yeah. Maybe go real heavy in the Disney.
Yeah. You are a believer in that product, as we just heard via your testimonial, which could be, again, on a commercial. Where do you want to end us?
Well, looking forward to seeing you in Maine.
Yep.
So excited. We're finally going to be related.
Is this a sell the news event?
You think the podcast is just going to plummet? Oh,
no, the wedding.
I don't know if you've looked at our downloads or subscription or subscribing levels to the Penny Lane Pod, but we're at an all-time high. People are so anxious for season 2. And I have some ideas. I know you have some ideas, and I'd love to, after the wedding, get down and have a little meeting.
Yeah. Maybe during like that cocktail hour, like we were talking about. Where
let me pull you away from your event, and let's really get down to brass tacks on season 2 of the Penny Lane Pod.
You know who's going to need to come on that?
Tell me.
One Mitch.
Mitch.
Gotta come.
Dun, dun, dun.
Money Mitch. Money Mitch, tell us who's on after us. Let's lead them in.
All right, we're going to be wrapping up here, guys. Like always, guys, definitely smash the like. Check out the Penny Lane Meets Wall Street podcast. Just about anywhere you can go ahead and look it up. So definitely check that out, guys. Hit the download button. And if you always want to catch Penny Lane on Twitter, there you go. Have it right there. You can check them out at the Penny Lane Pod and hit them up. Let them know what they should do a new episode on. I'm sure they'd love that.
Also, this is Wednesday. Follow me all weekend for wedding updates and pics of the Penny Lane podcast, an insider view.
You just drop some stock tickers throughout the weekend. Just whatever you're seeing.
Yeah, probably actually more wedding deets, but
fair. All right. Fine. All right.